have a lot to talk about today. I've kind of had a stressful few days, so I'm just gonna kind of take it easy today. This might be an extremely short live stream. I only be 10 minutes, so I'll just touch a few things. If people do jump into the chat, give me your comments. We're still happy to start the conversation as always that way. But there's a few things I do want to talk about, and I'm going to start with the Outsider little review. This is a chance for me to do a couple more like TV reviews or something I saw just finished up recently. Like currently I'm watching McMillions. That finale was yesterday, but I haven't gotten a chance to watch it. I'm going to watch it tonight. But The Outsider, I did get a chance to see, and I loved it. This Stephen King adaptation, The Outsider, I thought was fantastic. I really, it was really nice seeing Ben Mendelsohn just kind of do something a little bit more relaxing, not doing Captain Marvel or Batman or Star Wars, not one of these big franchises, but he's doing something a little bit more close to home. And I'm all for that. I love him and all the other stuff, but I thought he was excellent in this. I mean, Jason Bateman directed the first two. He was super important in getting this show brought to air, and I loved that. I thought he did a great job. I know Jason Bateman talking about, does it have a shining feel, and this show has a shining feel. This show's on Stephen King adaptation. At first, I remember I thought it was like a just a cop thriller, true detective style, and really though it gets Stephen King. It gets wacky, it gets a little weird at the end, and I loved it. I was all for it. The ending, my only negatives, the ending, maybe, it drug a little bit with 10 episodes, and the ending might have been a little bit anticlimactic, but for the most part, I really enjoyed it. Reminded me a little bit of it too. Had a lot of fun with it too, but wasn't huge on the ending, at least the very finale. But I did like this finale. I thought it was pretty impactful. At the very end, I thought there were some great moments in there. Maybe after the big the events happen, it kind of wrapped kind of quick, but for the most part, I really dug this show, and I do recommend it if you're a fan of Stephen King to check it out. It's I had a really good time with it. Ben Mendelsohn's great. All the actors were great. Jason Bateman, fantastic. It's an interesting story. Hooked me right away. I was into it, and I kind of just watched it off a whim. I saw a few critics I like on Twitter saying how much they loved it, and were digging it, and I knew I think I binged it in the 1 week after episode 9 dropped on that Sunday, I think is when I started episode 1, and then I caught up just and finished episode 9 on the Sunday before the finale dropped, and then I just got a chance to watch the finale right after it dropped, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I got caught up and had a fun time with that. I ended up really enjoying the show. I do highly recommend it. That was a pretty quick review for a little live stream here, but I guess we can always just get into a little bit of Star Wars if we need to. And there's really not a lot of news right now. There was something that I thought was real interesting to touch on, which was Scott Derrickson saying he'd love to do an R-rated Hoth movie. I'm all for that. Give me a side story before, when the first few rebels maybe have gotten there, when they were building the base or something, and it's Hoth, it's dark, it's violent, it's crazy. You get some more creatures in there. That would be really cool. I mean, it's a snow planet. It's covered in all the snow and ice. I'm all for that. I think Scott greatness. Made some really good horror movies. Loved Doctor Strange. Thought Doctor Strange was a really unique new addition to the Marvel Universe. Maybe a weak villain. I don't care. I get it, Marvel. You got bad villains, everybody says, but I think you do a great job with your heroes, and I really like Doctor Strange. I'm excited for Doctor Strange 2, and sad he's not coming back. I like Sam Raimi a lot, so if Sam Raimi does sign on, I'm all for Sam Raimi doing it, because I think Sam Raimi is an excellent filmmaker. And he knows how to handle big budget movies, so I'd be all for that. But yeah, I had a really good time, or I think this is a really great idea, but it's never going to happen. Disney is never going to greenlight an R-rated Star Wars movie. They'll never take a risk like that, it would be so amazing. Never ever risk like that in a million years. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I decided the glass is actually half full. Maybe they would. I don't know. At the end of the day, maybe they're apparently making Deadpool. New Mutants ended up not being R-rated, and you can do a lot of violence in. I'm pretty violent in PG-13, but the blood, the swearing, not being held back. You don't have to go Quentin Tarantino, but not being held back would be nice. And an R-rated Star Wars movie, I think, would be really cool, but you don't need to be R-rated. But no, this will never happen. If Scott has pitched this, I don't see them green-lighting it. Kathleen Kennedy, Big Bob Iger, who's slowly leaving, and now the new CEO, Bob something else, Big Bob the Second is maybe what I'll start calling him, Big Bob 2. He could greenlight something like this. Maybe he's got some different ambition with the projects and says, hey, this is a good idea. But I really doubt that that's happened for the. Yeah, it's been interesting. Star Wars has been a real slow news kind of week. I mean, there is some. I mean, the Clone Wars episode will be out this week. I really liked the. Project Luminous sounds super cool. But there's not, I mean, Star Wars Celebrations 169 days. I'm all for that. There's not, when you look at like StarWarsNews.net, you're looking for all that news. There's really not a lot coming out. There's, I do want to say R.I.P. the legend Max von Sydow. It is a tragedy to lose you from this world. He's an incredible actor. I mean, from The Exorcist all the way up to Force Awakens to Game of Thrones, to the stuff people in pop culture, the younger generation knows him now. The Exorcist blows me away. One of the best horror movies ever, and he's so good. It is a tragedy to hear of his passing, and I noticed that as I pulled up StarWarsNews.net, and I saw that again, and it reminded me, and I wanted to pay tribute to that. We can talk about, I guess, The Mandalorian did wrap season 2. I'm all for that, man. I love the first season of The Mandalorian. I know some people don't like it. It should have just been about Yoda, baby Yoda, all the time. We should have just been doing this and this. We should have it just should have been the Star Wars I want, and I didn't get that, and now I'm very upset about it. That's what all the internet trolls love to say and do, but guess what? The Mandalorian's a great time, man. I loved it. Oh, they're all like, oh, Bill Burr. It's his accent. It's like they all have accents. They're in aliens. They're in space. It's Dano posted on Twitter. I'm all for it. Let's get into some dark saber action. Let's get more of my boy from Breaking Bad in there. I'm all for this. I hope it's a little bit longer. I hope they go to 10 episodes, but I think it's gonna actually be 8 again, or was it 6? It was 6. I think it's going to just actually be those 6 again, which is a bummer that they're filming so short, but if that's what the story they think they have to tell, I'm all for it. Jon Favreau came back, and I think he directed 2 episodes this season instead of 1. I'm not sure who the other directors were for this season. Let's see if I can't find it. Mandalorian season 2 here. Let's see. I mean, we're getting at this year. And there's been news that Big Bob Iger is, because he's not completely stepped away from Mandalorian or from Disney, that he's actually focusing on Disney Plus to get some more original content, to get more viewers invested in that stuff, in their new products, because the Mandalorian brought in so much that they want to continue that. Let's see. I don't think it's going to give me all the list of everybody yet for season 2, which is a bummer. But I really liked the way season 2 went. I thought it was fantastic at the end of the day. I had a really, really fun time with it. So I'm all for it for Mandalorian. I still am a little nervous. I don't want to get too species that Yoda is and too much onto that. I'd be alright getting a little bit of like how they age explained, why he's an infant at 50 and why he's crippled at 900, and how the years from episode 3 to beyond have aged him. Maybe the Force did it. Maybe it was his training that did it when he was on Dagobah. I wouldn't mind those, but I don't really need, and I'm sure we're going to get a species name, and I think that we will get that, and I'm alright with that, but I don't really want to see him be returned to a family of Yodas. I would prefer him not really to find his family and to find something to be adopted in. If we end up getting a family of Yodas, I can accept it. I have always said, or I've started to have this new mantra. I can accept that in Star Wars. I can if something is given to me in a very creative, unique way and is told that way, I can accept something that I might have not all been for, and I can learn to love it. But when, like Rise of Skywalker as an example, I can accept the Emperor coming back, but they didn't present it in a good way, a chronological way that makes sense, so it's hard to accept that. For me, because it was something I went in not loving that idea. But overall, I think this is great for Star Wars Mandalorian coming back at the end of the year. I think it's a great way to kind of stick in the holiday season because we're not getting a movie for a while. Star Wars Celebration is in 169 days. That's really not that far. It's a quarter of a year. So we're going to get a lot of news then. Obi-Wan hopefully will be done shooting or be in the middle of shooting back on schedule, and they've changed what they need to script-wise. But we should be getting more stuff. I'd really like to hear more about what J.D. Dillard is going to be doing. If he's doing this next big movie, what is he bringing to the table? What is he thinking it's going to be? What's going to be called? I'm all for all that information. But like I said, guys, nobody's popping up in the chat. That's all right here. We're a small channel. I only do this just kind of, to get some stuff out there, but I'm not feeling 100% today, and there's not a lot of news to talk about. I wanted to talk about some shows I've been watching. This and some of the Star Wars news, which has really become a Star Wars podcast, which I'm all right with. And just wanted to get that out there, but I think I'll just end it here to, make it a quick little video. Just because, I'm not 100% in it today, and sometimes you need to take them breaks. So just please give us a like, subscribe, and share. Please share us around, make us bigger so we continue to gain more traction. That would be amazing, guys. Please do all that. Leave comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom, and we'll see you again next time, guys. Kyle.